11 and a half hours into Crimson Desert, I genuinely cannot wait to get back in. That's not where I expected to be because the first 2 hours of this game almost made me walk away entirely. Quick disclaimer, this is not a review, I'm still early, and I'll say that once and move on. What I have is a clear sense of what this game is doing right, what it's doing wrong, and whether that rough opening is something worth pushing through. Let's get into it. Pearl Abyss is a Korean studio whose entire history before this was Black Desert Online, one of the most visually striking, notoriously grindy MMOs on the market. Crimson Desert was originally built as an extension of that world before the studio pivoted and rebuilt it as a single-player open-world game. That history matters because once you know it, the early hours start to make sense. The MMO skeleton is still visible just beneath the surface, and it shapes almost everything about how the opening feels. The game starts well, you're dropped into a night raid on the Greymane clan, your clan, and the immediate energy is strong. There's chaos, urgency, confident voice acting, and a tone that feels genuinely adult. For a few minutes, it seems like Crimson Desert is going to pull you in hard and fast.
Cocky prick! You
Then the sequence ends and the game shifts gears completely. What follows is a slow, meandering stretch through an opening town that will test your patience. You're running from marker to marker, visiting shops, collecting items that don't feel important yet, talking to NPCs who hand you objectives with minimal context. It is, in a very meaningful way, how an MMO opens. That long flat stretch before the world has shown you enough of itself to make any of it feel worth the effort. The story during this stretch doesn't help. Extraordinary things happen to Cliff, the game's protagonist, and he receives all of them with near complete indifference. The man comes back from the dead and his reaction lands somewhere between mild curiosity and nothing at all. Early on, Cliff doesn't feel stoic, he just feels absent. The controls compound the problem. This is one of the worst things about the game right now, and I don't say that lightly. Cliff moves with a heavy, momentum-driven physicality that takes time to adjust to. But the deeper issue is that the control scheme punishes imprecision in ways that feel arbitrary. A dodge roll requires a single press of circle, press it twice, which you will, because urgency makes you spam inputs, and Cliff does a short sidestep instead. That sidestep gives you almost no distance from the enemy. In a game where positioning matters, getting that wrong because you double pressed a button isn't difficulty, it's friction. And it's not a one-off quirk. The same pattern of overly specific, unforgiving inputs runs throughout multiple systems, and the onboarding does almost nothing to ease you into them. By hour 5, I was still getting tutorials for mechanics I hadn't touched yet. I had to go back into the menu and reread old entries just to remember how something worked. Pearl Abyss has already acknowledged the feedback publicly and stated they're working on improvements, which matters for anyone deciding whether to buy right now, but also says something about where the controls landed at launch. Then, something shifted. There's a moment where the game sends you to the abyss, a series of floating structures high above the world, and eventually you leap off the edge. As you fall and glide down, the entire world spreads out below you. A desert, snowy peaks, a vast mountainous region thick with green. It's the first time the game shows you the scale of what's actually here. And after 2 hours confined to a single town, that view lands differently than you expect. It doesn't fix anything, but it changes the feeling of what you're inside. From there, the combat started to reveal itself. Even fighting random bandits in a field felt genuinely satisfying. Hits connect with real weight. Parrying with the shield produces a crunch of feedback that makes each exchange feel physical, and the more you engage, the more options appear. Cliff can grab enemies, throw them, charge with his shield, leap clean over them. There's depth here that the opening simply buries. The first proper boss, a knight, was where it clicked for me. Parrying his attacks felt earned rather than lucky. A later encounter against a mechanical excavator with drills for hands taught me something more important. This isn't a game that you approach like a Souls title. I kept rolling through attacks and kept getting caught. The moment I switched to the sidestep, faster, shorter range keeps you closer to the enemy. The fight opened up entirely. That kind of adaptation, noticing what the game is actually asking for rather than defaulting to patterns from elsewhere, is where the combat starts to feel like its own thing. The preparation loop won me over quietly. Before heading out, whether for a quest or just to explore, you cook your own food because that's how you heal in combat. You reinforce your weapons and armor at an anvil and a grindstone. You make sure your gear is in order. None of this is mandatory, but when you go through the ritual before leaving town, setting out feels like the beginning of an actual journey rather than a fast travel to the next marker. It's a small design choice that earns a lot. Then there's the world itself, which is where the game makes its most sustained argument for your time. Riding across the landscape, watching the weather turn from sun to rain, the lights shifting as night comes in. At a certain point, I stopped tracking objectives and just rode. The feeling reminded me of The Witcher, where crossing beautiful country on horseback was something enough on its own. Crimson Desert earns that comparison more often than I expected. And the world isn't just beautiful to move through, it's dense with things to find. Bounty hunts where you track someone down, beat them into the ground, and physically carry them back to jail on your shoulders. Environmental interactivity that approaches Elder Scroll territory. Almost anything can be picked up, and every piece of gear you equip actually appears on your character model, rings included. I'm 11 hours in, still in the first region, and there's a desert, snowy mountains, a dragon, and a mech somewhere ahead that I haven't touched yet. That said, the problems from the opening haven't been left behind entirely. The controls remain genuinely complicated, and while I've adapted enough to make them work, I wouldn't call them good. The story improved noticeably by the end of Chapter 2, but Cliff's emotional register is still something that I'm watching. And the game has a consistent habit of failing to communicate its own systems. There's a memory viewing mechanic that requires equipping a specific helmet each time, cumbersome by design when there's actually a faster method buried in a corner of the UI with no tutorial pointing to it. I found it by accident. My first death, for the record, came from chopping a tree, getting swarmed by bees, and having no idea what to do because you can't hit bees with a sword. Individually, these moments are minor. As a pattern, they form a picture of a game that occasionally gets in its own way. So where does that leave things at 11.5 hours? If the opening is all you experience, Crimson Desert might feel like a game that never fully shed its MMO origins, hollow in places, frustrating in others, asking you to trust a promise it hasn't made good on yet. That's a fair read of those first hours, but the game does make good on the promise. And for me, it didn't take 8 hours, it took closer to 4. By session 2, I was looking forward to getting back in. By the end of session 2, I was already thinking about the next one before I turned it off. Whether that turnaround is worth it depends on your tolerance for difficult openings. The controls need to be better, the story has real ground to cover, but the world is alive, the combat has genuine depth, and there's a feeling in this game, riding out into the open country, weather rolling in, something new on the horizon that I haven't felt in a while. I'm going to keep playing. Right now, that's the most honest thing I can tell you. If you guys enjoyed this video, please drop a like and also subscribe to the channel because I'll be doing a lot more Crimson Desert content in the future. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.